Are you thinking, I don't have that kind of money to buy a house around here. It is so expensive in the DC metro area. How am I going to afford a house? I'm just going to rent. Well, if this is you, you want to stay tuned and listen to what I have to say. You may be able to afford a house more than you think. What if I told you there's a way to buy a home, even with a friend or by yourself, and build wealth instead of throwing money away every month? And it doesn't require the mythical 20% down payment. So if you're interested in this, stay tuned and let's get started. I'll break down exactly what you can do in the DC metro area to make that happen for you. First, let's look at rent versus buying in the DC metro area. So if you could afford rent in the DC metro area and you have good credit or excellent credit, low debt, and you have a little bit of money saved up, not 20%, but maybe like $5,000, then you need to listen to this. So let's start by comparing rent versus a mortgage in the DC metro area. Average rent in the DC metro area is basically a mortgage. Let's start by looking at an average 2-bedroom townhome in the DC metro area. Now, this is going to vary depending on current trends and market conditions, but this is the average. Typically, Washington, D.C., for rent, you're looking at $3,200 to $4,500 for a 2-bedroom townhome. Northern Virginia, including Arlington, Fairfax, and Alexandria, you're looking at $2,800 to $4,200. Maryland suburbs, including Bethesda, Silver Spring, Rockville, you're looking at $2,500 to $3,800. Now you say, what is it that drives rent prices? Limited housing supply. High demand keeps rents elevated. Mortgage rate impact on rents. If rates stay high, that means more renters equals higher rents. Job market stability. Government jobs and tech jobs fuel demand. So that's how rents work. Now let's look at home appreciation. Now, home appreciation is affected by market conditions and location. Looking at townhomes, in 2023, due to limited inventory and high demand, the appreciation was 3 to 5% in the DC metro area. 2024 appreciation was 2 to 4%. Some areas seeing higher growth due to interest rate fluctuations and market cooling. 2025 is forecasted to grow 2 to 3% depending on interest rate fluctuations and economic growth. What is it that causes home appreciation? Low housing inventory. Demand continues to outpace supply. Job market stability. Government and tech jobs continue to affect housing demand. And of course, interest rates. If interest rates drop, it could actually cause appreciation to go even higher. I know that a lot of people have concerns about buying a home in 2025, but as you can see, there's no reason to panic in this area. Rents are only increasing, but appreciation on houses are also increasing. So let's look at what a mortgage payment could look like for you. So let's look at this example. What if you can buy a home for $350,000, and because you are smart about choosing the right layout for your home, you put yourself in the position to have a roommate that pays you $1,000 to $1,500 a month. Now I'm talking about a separate entrance here. I'm not talking about being part of your home. Let's say your rent is currently $3,000. So we are comparing the $3,000 to what it would be like to own a townhome. Price of a townhome, $375,000. Your down payment, 20%, is $75,000. We'll come back to this, the down payment. Mortgage, your mortgage amount is $300,000. Assuming your fixed rate of 6.6%, your payment is $1,916 a month. Let's say you use one of the deferred loan options and you don't refinance. In 5 years, you'll need to add the deferred loan at, say, 5% interest rate, which comes to $480 per month. So your payment in 5 years, if you haven't refinanced, is $2,395. So even with today's interest rates, you are already saving money. So you can take that vacation, buy a pair of shoes, or just stack it up in the bank. And don't forget, you have 2 to 4% equity in your home every single year versus your rent, 0% equity. So as a first-time homebuyer in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, there are different programs, whether it's a deferred loan or a grant. Now, when I say grant, it means that they're just giving you the money, you don't have to pay back. If it's a deferred loan, you take it right now and then you start paying on the loan anywhere from 5 to 10 years. And the great thing is that you don't have to figure this out. I'm going to break down some of these programs just so you know what's out there. But what's going to happen is you contact your real estate agent, who will put you in contact with a mortgage broker, and then they'll look at your situation, meaning your credit score, your income to debt ratio. You want to have low debt when you're doing this. and they'll figure out which program is best for you. So let's start with the DC programs. There's DC Open Doors. They offer 3 to 3.5% down payment. The next program in DC is called HPAP, Home Purchase Assistance Program. They offer up to 20% down payment, which is a deferred loan, and they offer about $4,000 in closing costs. The amount that we qualify for depends on your income, but you can get almost $200,000 depending on your situation. And because you're putting 20% down, there's no PMI. Another program is City First Enterprises, CFE. This program also offers a deferred loan option, but it's more privatized, so there's more funds available for this. This one offers again a deferred loan of 20% and up to $10,000 in closing costs. What they do is they marry those two together, and then you pay an interest rate in 5 years that goes along with your payment, like we talked about in the math that I did earlier. And then there's also additional grants where they'll give you like $10,000 towards closing costs as long as you qualify, and you don't have to pay that back. The key is funds are limited, so you want to apply for them as your real estate agent tells you, and once you're qualified for it, then you can go out, look for a house, ratify a contract, and go to closing. Now, Maryland also has programs. One of them is Maryland Mortgage Program, MMP, which offers really low interest rates. Another one is MMP Flex Loans, which offers deferred loan payments, closing costs, and more. Another option is an FHA 203K limited loan. This loan also offers not only the mortgage, but the renovations on the home if you're looking for a fixer-upper. Maryland also has grants from $5,000 to $10,000 for closing costs for first-time homebuyers. Now, the same goes for Virginia. Virginia also has first-time homebuyer programs. One of them is called FHDA. They are for 30-year fixed interest rates that are very competitive. And they also have some no PMI options. There's also a Virginia Housing Down Payment Assistance Grant, which offers 2% of the purchase price that you don't have to repay. There's also another program that Virginia has that offers a 5% down payment that's in the form of a deferred loan. 5% for your down payment, and sometimes you don't have to repay it until you sell the house or refinance. There are also programs where you can be reducing your federal tax liability by taking 10 to 20% reduction based on the interest that you pay on your mortgage. If you're in Virginia and you're in a rural area, you can use a USDA loan, put 0% down, as long as your credit score is 640 plus. Then, of course, if you're a veteran or in the military, you can use a VA loan, which means 0% down and no PMI. So at the end of the day, do you want to rent? Rents are going to keep increasing. Or do you lock in an interest rate? And even if you lock in an interest rate that's a little high right now, you can always refinance in a couple of years when you're building equity in that home. So you're basically building wealth. Now here's a creative buying strategy. Pair up with a friend of yours. Create an LLC and put it down in writing how you're going to deal with that property. So then you're both building wealth. You're not spending money on rent, and going forward, if you decide to move out, you can keep it as a rental and split the income with your friend. So if you're renting a home, obviously the rents could go up. And if you buy a home, even in today's market, with the mortgage interest rates being a little bit higher than we're used to, you're still building equity, and you could refinance the home when interest rates come down. And don't forget that the interest that you're paying on your mortgage, you're also seeing a little bit of a tax credit when it comes to filing your taxes. So hopefully this helped you decide. So if you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear from you. Comment down below. And if you'd like to book a one-on-one with me, my calendar link is down below as well.